Welcome in everybody to another edition of NXT on Tap. I am Scalz, and tonight I am joined by Phil the Future, one of my normal co-hosts. But we have one of our special guests taking over for Jax while he is out and about. We have the Will Gray. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm so happy to be here, guys. I'm just glad to help out. I'm here. I'm here to be Jax. It's just another beautiful beard to be on screen for you guys.
Hey, I'm happy to be here as always. So, how do we start off tonight?
I mean, we had a pretty good show tonight.
We
had a
did.
lot of action going on. You had some good backstage scenes, and it just seemed to flow. Quick thoughts on it. Did you enjoy the show?
I would 1000% say that. And again, since you guys rolled this show was when I started watching NXT weekly. Up until that point, it's on record. Listen to the tape, Botch Bots and Share Shots, Rivet City Radio, and Off the Top Media. But if you go back and you listen to what I was saying up until that point, I was saying things like NXT was a hot mess and the stories were incoherent and weren't making sense. Then Mr. Hickenbottom took over. They rolled out this new NXT. And since I've been watching it weekly, tonight was the perfect example of how this is one of the most consistently good wrestling shows week over week, because they're incorporating character work. They're incorporating ring work. They're incorporating stories. They do that small studio style crowd that's always red hot because it's only, 1,000 people or whatever it is. Like, baller. I'm an NXT guy now. It's one of my favorite shows weekly.
Shout out to you. I'm happy for you,
Our
man.
Truth followed Shadow.
Nice.
So that means Our Truth now follows Shadow, Al, and Botch Bots and Share Shots, and I still haven't got a fucking follow from this man.
He actually follows Shadow on TikTok too, if I'm not mistaken.
The closest I ever got to R-Truth following me was him liking and commenting when he did when he was doing his barnyard flex challenge or whatever.
I love me some Our Truth. He's a national treasure.
Hell yeah.
Who do you have to thank for the NXT though?
I would say Sean. At this point, Triple H has been removed and on the main roster long enough that everything we have right now in NXT is 100% Shawn Michaels.
Yep. Thank you, Uncle Sean.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Triple H has his hand in it. Nick Khan has his hand in it. It's part of WWE. But I would almost say that the day-to-day operations of the the things that I follow Will on Twitter. Thank you. I love you. The important thing, Sean is there hand and foot, like taking on those roles to make sure those young guys are getting worked with. They're getting mentored right. They're getting their reps. And again, the things that I preach about NXT needs to do is give these kids their reps, get them in the ring, have them doing the basics, have them running the ropes, and show that they're ready to be on TV versus just throwing them to the wolves. NXT is more than a developmental brand, but right now they're doing the best of both. They're a great developmental program, and they're putting out hella bangers on TV week over week.
Yeah, the evolution that they've had from NXT 2.0 to now, it's like right now what we're witnessing is the best of both worlds. The best of Black and Gold and the best of NXT 2.0 put into one. And it's just an amazing thing because we get to watch people grow and evolve. And it's just like so good. I believe Shadow is talking about a career retrospective that is coming up in a few weeks. So you don't want to miss Career Retro this Thursday as we cover Mercedes Moné. At the end of that, we will be having a special announcement as to who we will be covering 2 weeks from there.
Ooh, the anticipation.
Let's start off with this.
No other Mania predictions door now.
You shouldn't have told me what you told me earlier then. I thought you were talking about that.
Go sling it, Bobby.
let's start off with the first match of the night: Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley. This was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. I feel like that was the way with some of these matches that we had tonight, but we did get some good action in it. We have Roxanne Perez taking the victory in this, and then what we had after the match was actually probably my favorite part of this whole segment. Lyra Valkyria comes out, her and Roxanne get into it, and then we have a match set up for Stand and Deliver. What was your thoughts on this, Phil?
Okay, funny enough, this was the only match on the card that I didn't see at all. I was a little late to getting to watch NXT, but
okay.
Just hearing about what happened and all that, I will say I'm not entirely surprised, but it does get us hyped for Stand and Deliver, and really that's what the end goal is at the end of the day. Get us hyped up for that match at Stand and Deliver. Just
Will, did you catch the beginning? Because I know you were a little bit later on.
No, I got to watch the only part I missed was the tank tag team match when I went to the gas station for my snacks and soda pop.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
One of my favorite parts right now about Roxy is this heel turn. And if you go all the way back into her Ring of Honor stuff, she's always kind of been that bubbly, like cheerful baby face, almost similar to like a Hugger Bailey.
Right.
But then you look at who she is now, where she's shifted over. She's become a little bit more dark in character. She's even changed her gear and her hair to a point that this heel turn that she's gone through is very like, it's needed. It's refreshing, because the Roxy that she was before it's not gone, because you still see the powerful moments, her in-ring work, all the things you love about it. But her coming in and becoming a heel is very refreshing. It's like Okada turning heel, Bailey turning heel. These historical baby faces are now heels, and you're like, oh shit, like this is cool. Like, and that's what I love about it, because she's shown that she can be a good bad guy.
What's up, Cam?
What's up, Cam?
Will just compared Roxy to Okada and Bailey.
No,
in the retrospect of the way that the heel turn has worked.
Yeah, I say Okada because Okada up until this point historically in his 20-year career has been nothing but a babyface.
And I 100% agree with what you said. That's what I was trying to get from that. Like the way you explained it as a comparison to them makes perfect sense.
Right. I mean, if I'm gonna have my say in this, like we've already seen, like probably by now, Roxanne's already been in NXT for about a solid year, and you know she's been pushed to the moon and back throughout her entire time. And all the time, we've really seen her do is babyface work. So to finally see this new heel persona, like you said, the clothes are different. I noticed when she was in the parking lot, she had the blue highlights in her hair. I'm like, yo, that's something different from Roxy. It's different. Like you guys are saying, it's different. It's refreshing. It's bringing out a new side of Roxanne that is finally something new and exciting that I think is going to be great once we get to Stand and Deliver.
I want to touch on this comment from Cam.
I hope
Lyra doesn't lose the title. I'm just starting to like her the last couple weeks. Yes, I mean she's been great in this whole title run that she's had. But right now, the build and anticipation from Roxy, from the way she's turned heel, everything she's done on this, how she keeps going to Ava saying, "Give me my title. I never lost it." Like, it's just the perfect build. And I feel that it would be ruined if she doesn't win the title back at Stand and Deliver. Will, you're muted.
First day on the job. It's one of those, like, tells as old as time when they say things like that, because I'm not going to say this and it sounds generic, but we've seen this story a lot in wrestling where a babyface will get injured, they'll have to vacate the title, and then they'll come back with a heel turn and that whole by any means necessary mentality to get the title back. And again, talking about the timing of Roxy's turn, this is the perfect formula for the story they're trying to tell with her, because she was a babyface champion who lost the title to injury. Now that she's came back, you think about the people who held that belt between when she lost it to now, your Becky's and your Lyra's and God knows whoever else is watching then. Tiffany. Oh, did Tiff hold the NXT title?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for her.
She's the one that lost it to Becky.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you see my point. Yeah, like this, the heel turn coming back, all these powerful women held the title, and now she's like, damn it, I want my turn and give me my belt back. And I think she's the perfect example to tell the story that they're working.
She's Skip Bayless right now. It's my turn. It's my turn. You told me it was my turn.
We don't mention Skip Bayless.
No. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. but I will touch on Cam's next statement though. Keep Lyra and Tatum together. It's such a good pairing. I agree. Again, it's not like Scalz and I have gone through. It has that right amount of like stuff that gives you Trish and Mickie James, but yet it's almost the same as like a Miz and a Mizdow.
Yeah, it's like
it's so good.
So let's move on to the next segment of the show. You had Metaphor in the back talking about what happened last week. Alpha Academy shows up, said they're here to deliver a message and they'll want to hear it. So we go through there. Lyra's getting her arm checked out in the trainer's room. She tells Ava to make the match for Stand and Deliver. Whether she is going to be cleared or not, that's a whole nother thing. But we then had Josh Briggs run out to the ring and just grab a mic and go off. And he complains about what Obafemi did last week. Femi comes out having a great back and forth to get interrupted by Dijak. And he fits right into this situation with the North American Championship. Will, weren't you saying that you think he's your favorite right now? One of your favorites?
Two of my three favorite characters in NXT right now were in this ring during this segment. Dijak's new character, what's it called? He's like that time hopper, like future cop. He's almost Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, like get to the chopper. But I liked what he was doing with everything, the build here. And now this whole personality that he's developed on Twitter, when you say somebody wins at Twitter, him intentionally going out and roasting people and ratioing people on Twitter is gold. I 1,000% love that. And you just look at what he's doing. It's just wild how he went from being this version of himself in black and gold, the hardworking, just head bashing big guy doing Hearn Karanas and 450s to Keith Lee and shit. Like, and then he goes in and he becomes, T-Bar and that failed experiment. And now he shifts back to a blend of Dominic Dijak from the Indies and the Dijakovic from NXT Black and Gold. And he's one of those guys who found his footing in the WWE identity crisis. And I love that for him because he needs it. And then Obafemi is a rock star. You and I were talking about it while we were watching it. Oba looks like a pro wrestler. He talks like a pro wrestler. He works like a pro wrestler. He's got a good work ethic. People have nothing but raving things to say about him. If you do your research and go look at what he was like playing Division I sports, his coaches said the same stuff about him then. He's going to be a world champion in the next 5 years.
Yep.
That's my prediction.
Yep. Cam, I
don't know if it takes that long.
Honestly. I will also agree with Cam. If Marvel does come out with Black Panther 3, get this man in there. Weakness the might of the Jabari.
But it's just amazing how quick he's picked it up. because he's only been wrestling for less than a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he just gets it. And I hate to compare him to Logan Paul, but he gets it like Logan Paul gets it in sense of the wrestling business. And because you have to be able to do that to make it in this business and longevity wise. If you don't care about the business and you don't put the effort in to do it, you're not going to be as successful as most people. So for him to be at this stage of his career and already understand that and get that just shows how great he's going to be.
Yeah, he better be a world champion within the next. I mean, Mike here says he better be a world champion within the next 3 years because he's going to catch fire real quick when he's the main roster. Agreed.
Yeah, I think he definitely he's going to be a world champion in NXT before he moves up.
Right.
Because they're in no rush to move him up, but he will be at some point, and it's gonna hit when he does.
It will.
After this, you had Shawn Spears watching all the mayhem unfold. He said pride comes before the fall. As he's walking away, Joe Gacy is hiding underneath a bench in the locker room with his head sticking out. He agrees with Spears and then slides away like a little snake. Like
Joe Gacy is just he's him right now. No Camilo Hayes, but like Gacy is just like comic gold right now.
I said to Will, I didn't even see him there. I didn't see him there until Spears got up. Like it was just so perfectly placed.
Yeah, he's a genius. I think Joe Gacy, and I use this term with Dijak and earlier in the episode as well, with the WWE identity crisis, when these guys come in as established stars on the indies and they have to figure out how to coexist with who they were there plus their WWE identity. And I think Joe Gacy is finally figuring that bridge out from the CZW Joe Gacy and now the WWE Joe Gacy. And again, he found that stride. He's been putting out those banger matches with Gacy and everything, or with Dijak, and the whole bit with the straight jacket and everything that developed through all of that to where he's at now, where he's just kind of running amok on everybody. It's a win. Again, like I'm just here to be an assistant, to be the third. I'm a gopher just to replace a beautiful red beard. But honestly, I can't help but sing the praises of Shawn Michaels right now. Like I'm genuinely impressed as a wrestling fan with like maybe Shawn should book the main roster. Just saying.
NXT. I don't want that show to be ruined. It is honestly my favorite watch of the week out of all the wrestling that's out there. So I don't want
Shawn train somebody to take over NXT, okay? And then have him take over the booking for like SmackDown. You know what I mean? Give Shawn Michaels a promotion and give him SmackDown and let somebody else cultivate what he's already doing in NXT and continue to grow.
Ooh.
After that, we had a Stand and Deliver tag team qualifier match. Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus the No Quarter Catch crew.
The superheroes!
The two members that were in this match was Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne. This was a great match. I was surprised with the winners because I thought that they might have No Quarter Catch crew go over. But not surprised in the same sense because you do have the resident superheroes in Axiom and Nathan Frazier going on.
Oh yeah. Oh, Cam in here said like we got to hire Scott D'Amore.
Like there you go, Will. That's like the perfect one to do it.
I mean, like if we're gonna go with the plan that Will's talking about, like have Uncle Hunter work with Raw, have Uncle Sean do SmackDown, and then have Scott D'Amore do NXT. I don't know. You see running NXT if not.
That would actually make sense.
I mean, and then Thea Hale versus JC Jane at Stand and Deliver. That would be good.
So this was, like I said, this was a good match. You had a lot back and forth, but Frazier gets the pin because Axiom hit Dempsey with the golden ratio. Good match overall. Next, you had Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin in the back, and this is where Alpha Academy showed up. And Alpha Academy challenged Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin to a match for next week, saying if they beat them, they will be added to the triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. What do you think of that?
Well, like first of all, it's Nolan. It's Otis and
Akira Tozawa.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say like Alpha Academy in this one is weaker because Tozawa's on there, because Tozawa's has already proven that he can go in the ring just like everybody else. But I mean I mean I could see them at Stand and Deliver if they get like just that one surprise fruit roll up into a pin that somehow luckily gets them into the match. But I mean, I don't know. I gotta stick with my Wolf Dogs. Spear, end of days, you done, son.
I 100% agree with everything you said, but I disagree with the outcome. I see some shenanigans happening because they're trying to put star power on Stand and Deliver, and the way they worked it on Monday night, and Otis and Tozawa being all, I want to go, so let's see what happens tomorrow, and then they go to NXT, and now they're like, we want to fight for the title. I see this as being a way for them to get 2 more stars on the NXT brand for that Saturday afternoon show before Night 1 of Mania.
I can see that. I can see that.
And don't knock Akira Tozawa.
I'm not knocking Tozawa. Tozawa can go just like everybody else.
This man he probably can go a lot better than everybody else. And the problem is they don't allow him to do it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this man was given a chance to do what he can do, you would be amazed.
I mean, he was. I mean, as far as I know, he was amazing. He was amazing in like 205 Live in the cruiserweight division. Like he was called the Stamina Monster for a reason. Like he had crazy, like he was crazy with the German suplexes, going from like bridging. He would do bridging German suplexes, like deadlift German suplexes. The guy was crazy with them.
Yeah, definitely was.
And Mike, there we go with the NXT on tap.
Thank you, Mike, for the sub. We appreciate it.
Way to go, Mike. Yeah.
After that, we had a match between Brinley Reese and Soruka. Pretty cut and dry on this one. Soruka gets her win. First match back. What is the thing that happened? The best thing that happened in this was that you had Blair Davenport come out and attack Soruka after. So obviously they're setting something up for the future between them two. I believe Ruka got injured in a match versus Davenport when she first got injured. So definitely tying something into the history there.
To be honest though, watching the match between Soruka and Brinley Reese, they actually have pretty good chemistry together. For me, just watching the match overall. If they were if they were just randomly like put into a tag team, I wouldn't be mad at that, because they just work really well in the ring. And of course, it can go without saying, Soruka's finisher is probably one of the best finishers ever.
After this, we had the little backstage segment with Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan. I'm loving this. Like, it's so funny. I know Gigi is like that tough bitch, like the hard ass, like,
yeah.
But
She's
her doing this and her facial expressions on it just make the segments the best.
Yep, she's no longer Gigi now. She's Georgina, I guess.
Yeah, Miss NXT in training. Like,
Oh my gosh. Oh man, this is gonna get a little bit of getting used to, but you know what? I'll take it.
yes, it did, Jax. Yes, it
Miss
did.
Miss Jack said Miss MXT. What? No,
Is if you take the Sol Ruka match, and I didn't have much to say about that. My notes had nothing written down about Sol Ruka because this was the first time I think I've either seen her work or remember watching her work.
Well, she got
Which is not.
injured before you really started watching, so
I knew she had been through a couple injuries, and I had a running joke for a long time on Ritter's show when they would talk about her, and it would be, I don't know what a Sol Ruka is. Like that would be the joke because I wasn't watching NXT. But I enjoyed that match. But more importantly than that match, another thing that Shawn Michaels is doing well on Tuesday nights is he's incorporating women's storylines throughout his entire 2-hour show. It's not the it's 8:00. Here's our women's match. We're plugging all the women's stories and picture, 7 minutes, 3-minute commercial, 10-minute segment. We're gone. Back to the men. Shawn incorporates both divisions and both tag team divisions in almost every episode. And I think that's important to see here because that's a constant back and forth in the IWC is who's booking their women's division better. And again, this is another check mark on the NXT box where I just feel like a homer at this point. But like NXT is doing a lot of things right. They're a good wrestling show. And I think at the core of it, the other shows are trying to be so much more than just a wrestling show now. That's a ballsy move calling her the next Flair.
I mean, I think Tiffany Stratton's is really the next Charlotte Flair, but I mean, to each their own.
I disagree with you, Phil.
I mean,
let's get back to this comment that I missed by Cam. Put Briggs and Jensen back together. I think that ship has sailed. There was some stuff that happened on Twitter today with Jensen. I don't think he's going to be on TV for a while. He said he was going to be stepping away. Man. So it's just he did nothing wrong. And it's just unfortunate the way that the IWC went after him. And yeah, I'm not going to lay any more comments to it, but I hope he does well, and I hope he comes back soon because he's actually a really good worker.
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry, I was reading a comment.
Brooks Jensen. So, nobody likes you, Phil, right now. You shut your fucking mouth.
What did I say?
Stop, Phil.
What did I say?
About Tiffany Stratton being the next Flair.
Well, I mean, when you look at it.
Mike agrees with you, Will. He said NXT really satisfied him because of the even quality of both divisions. So we made another watcher out of NXT.
Nice.
I mean, we had him last week, so let's go.
It just happened today, Will. Like it was a quick.
Oh, it's fresh. Okay.
Yeah, fresh. Next, we had the D'Angelo family. They came over. They put out Luca Crucifino. They put him as the newest family member. D'Angelo's talking about how he's going to slay the dragon at Stand and Deliver. Ilya interrupts the family once again. So now it says 2 weeks in a row that he's interrupted them. Last week was at his restaurant. This week it's as they were in a match. D'Angelo says that next week Dragunov is taking on Stax in a match, so we'll see what happens from there. What do you guys think of this segment?
I think that this was actually no. I almost positive this is when I left to go to the gas station.
Oh, that might be true.
Okay,
This and the beginning of the OC match, because I came in at the end of the OC match right before the main event started.
Okay.
Oh, so you missed.
Phil, I was gone for about 20 minutes.
I don't see the OC. Oh, there it is. So you even missed the Heritage Cup Championship match.
No, I saw that one then.
So this was before that. So
okay, I just wasn't paying any attention then. Then I apologize.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Man. One thing I will say is I don't know about y'all, but like I actually kind of like the fact now that they're gearing Tony D'Angelo now towards the NXT title. Like the whole theme for the D'Angelo family has now changed. And honestly, I like the change because it's showing a bit, because in a way it's also showing a change sort of in the family, like how they're now growing and they're really starting to become one of their own, in, as like being their own faction. Like, obviously it easily started off when Stax became the underboss. Then we got Adriana Rizzo in there, running some of the side business, and now we've got Luca Crucifino added in the mix as Tony's consigliere. Consigliere. Blah, blah, blah. I'm Italian. I should know how to say this. God damn it. Consigliere. Yeah, the consigliere. There we go. But yeah, I'm happy to see Luca Crucifino get this too. Like, I think the guy from like the first match he had, that wasn't in the breakout tournament, was actually really good. He may have, I don't know, I think he lost that match, but like either way, he got a fan out of me, and I think he's going to do great for the D'Angelo family. And they also came out tonight looking so fresh, though, like the suits, everything. Like, I can't even say Luca's loafers. But anyway, we're not talking about that. I think the whole thing about it, it's in itself. It's just getting me even more excited to see Ilya versus Ilya versus Tony, because Ilya right now as the NXT champion, not to really compare him to Roman, but this guy is Ilya right now is he is the final boss of NXT. The way the way of, from his intensity in the ring to his demeanor when he's giving off his promos, the way he carries himself, he screams like, I am the ultimate bad guy you have to face at the end of the video game type of guy. Like, just everything about him is, top tier. And to see Tony be the guy that could take down the one they call the Mad Dragon, that would be absolutely amazing to watch and to see if it actually can happen.
I'm hoping we get a new champion out of it. Ilya has had his time to shine at NXT. I think it is time for him to move up to the main roster, and I definitely want to see Ilya versus Gunther 3. And I think that's something we all.
Asher Berlin, please, even if it's not for a title. I don't care if it's for a title or not. We need Gunther versus Dragunov 3. We need it.
The next segment on the show we went into was the Heritage Cup Championship, which had the No Quarter Catch crew represented by Drew Gulak versus Riley Osborne of Chase U. Quick start to this match. Osborne got a pinfall in round 1 after doing a shooting star press.
That was beautiful.
It was a great shooting star press.
I was very surprised they actually gave him the 1-0 lead that early. I thought it was going to take a little bit more to do it. I think he just caught him off guard as if he wasn't like they weren't prepared for him. So I liked how they did that with it. Round 2, Gulak came out. He Osborne did a standing corkscrew. Gulak caught him, turned it into a sunset flip over, got a 3 count. As soon as Osborne gets up, though, Gulak destroys Osborne with an elbow. Like,
Yeah.
ow.
Like, honestly, though, I feel like at that moment, the ref could have called a DQ right then and there because Noam Dar would do the same thing in his matches, except there's a difference. Every time that what is it? The 3 count, the 3 count happened, or as soon as like the ref turned away, Dar would immediately hit would usually immediately hit a back elbow, and then Dar would immediately go like, I didn't know it was over. But like with Gulak, you knew it was clear as day that it just finished and just clocked him for no reason. The ref could have easily called a DQ there, end of match, like the end of the match right then and there. But
yeah, the problem with that though is if they did that, he would still keep the Heritage Cup.
I know.
So
either way, I'm just like, ain't that some bullshit?
Round 3 goes through without any pinfalls, though you did have Osborne almost tap out to the Gulak, but thankfully the time expired and saved him. I like that little thing they did on that. Seemed to add a lot to the match. And then round 4, here's where things get interesting, because JC Jane, Jasmine, they're now outside at the ringside, going back and forth with Thea. Thea goes after JC. JC gets in a ring. The ref sees Thea, doesn't pay attention to what Jasmine is doing. Jasmine causes Osborne to lose. Gulak gets the 1-2-3 and still remains NXT Heritage Cup champion for the No Quarter Catch crew. Will, what'd you think of this?
I'm a big fan of the pure title in Ring of Honor. I like the gimmick matches that have the stipulations. I was a huge fan of the what's the one they do at Deadline?
The Iron Survivor Challenge?
The Iron Survivor Challenge. I like gimmicked matches where you've got stipulations that have to be met that make it entertaining. You know what I mean? Give them like things they have to follow and rules that have to be met. And, that's what I really enjoyed about the Heritage Cup. And watching this tonight was a fun match because when they gave him the lead early, you were like, oh, shit. Okay. Because it felt like Noam Dar had held that title as long as he did. That with them changing it now, it still feels kind of up in the air. I did say, I wrote down one of the few handwritten notes I put down for this episode, no catch clause. That's oddly fucking similar to the Freebird rule. Like, why did they feel the need to rebrand something that's so like historically defined in wrestling that they would need to slap a whole new name on it?
How many were included in the Freebird rule?
There were 4 originally, and I think 5 at one point, or 3 then 4, or 4 then 5. One of the two.
I think it was 3 then 4 because there were like 3 guys in the Freebirds. It was Hayes, Gordy, and whoever the other one was.
Yeah, and then they added a 4th, so it'd be 3 then 4 later. So it's and how many are in
4? There's
4.
Yeah, no quarters got 4.
So I mean, it'd be the same thing.
So that's what.
And Freebird
is
for yeah, and Freebird is for the tag team, not a singles title. I guess it seems awful similar to the Freebird rule.
Oh, I agree, but I like how they coined it the catch clause because they're the no quarter catch crew. So I like how they're turning that into it. It's making it something different.
Making
and
it
you don't
unique.
know who you don't know who you're fighting. Like you can't prepare because it could be any one of the 4. It's not which
the beauty of the Freebird rule as well with the teams when they were running roughshod through the territories. Like if you were going to have a Freebird match and you were defending, they were defending the NWA Tag Team Champions. That was part of the lure of that match, was you wouldn't know which two would show up.
Right. But at least you're still facing two of them, so you can still be prepared for at least 2/3 of the three. Like this, you prepare for all four of them, and you're only getting one. So what if you spend the wrong time preparing for the one you think it's going to be? Now you're SOL.
True that.
So I thought this was a good match. It helps set up JC Thea Hale versus Jasmine next week on NXT. I think we're eventually going to get to see JC versus Thea at Stand and Deliver, because I feel like they want to do at least 5 or 6 matches at Stand and Deliver. And I feel like this is one of the blow-off matches that could happen there.
I mean, Cam was saying earlier tonight that he wants to see Thea versus JC at Stand and Deliver, and I'm all for it too.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to have the Women's Championship. You're going to have the Men's Championship. You're going to have the North American Championship. You're going to have the Men's Tag Titles. You have Trick versus Mello. So that's 5 right there. If they include this match, then that's 6. I don't know if they could do anything more than that, because they typically don't go above 6 matches for an NXT show.
Yeah, I mean, then again, I can look at this.
I mean, it is Stand and Deliver. It is like their biggest show because it's set around WrestleMania weekend. But I don't know if they've really done more than that, even for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, looking at the most recent one I can find right now, Deadline. If you don't include the pre-show, from Deadline, if you don't include the pre-show match, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 matches right there
at Deadline. Plus, there was a pre-show.
Yes.
Okay, so then maybe we do get to 7 or 8 for Stand and Deliver. Okay.
Quite possibly. But then again, you look at NXT Vengeance Day. Yeah, and you have let's see, 1,
5, I think.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got 6 again.
Okay.
Here's the dilemma, though, guys. There's 2 factors that go into this. One is time,
right?
Because it's not just they have to be done before WrestleMania starts. They have to be done and give those people time to go from NXT Stand and Deliver to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So they have to be real cognizant of the amount of time they're using, because if they run long, are you looking up the distance between the 2 stadiums?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's crazy. No Mercy, surprisingly, is the only difference, because if you include the pre-show match, you have 7. But main card, again, if you do not include pre-show with No Mercy, that again is 6 matches.
It's right around the corner, Mike.
Wells Fargo.
It's 1.2 miles away. So essentially, what you're doing is you have to just let those people leave if they don't have tickets for Mania before you bring the other people in. So. Right. Shadow getting all the love on Twitter lately. Nice. Yeah, Travis, you can make a request. Just throw it in the chat. I'll see it.
Yeah, buddy. Mike said Wells Fargo is right across the street from Lincoln Financial, so doesn't seem like it's that bad.
Yeah, it's in the same parking lot based off of what I just saw. So that's so they probably just need to leave time for them to get out. So as long as they're done by 3:00, I think they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to figure most of the people that are there for NXT Stand and Deliver are going to Mania already.
Yeah.
Travis, you already put it in the chat.
Yeah, we saw it, Travis. No
We
worries,
saw
man.
everybody has given their prayers out to Angelo Dawkins. We've seen it on Twitter. It's been a couple days now. It's not something that is recent. I understand you might have just seen it, but this happened before the weekend. So enough on that, okay? Please, thank you.
Yeah, he.
After the Heritage Cup Championship, we had Noam Dar versus Trick Williams
Which was our main
in
event.
the main event, and this was really good. Like, we know how good Trick Williams is. We know how good Noam Dar is. But we've never seen them work against each other, and they worked well together.
Agreed.
I like what they're doing with Lash Legend in this. I like the teasing that they're doing in it.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm like, yo, they better not have this man lose just because he's on screen and off screen girl gonna get him in trouble, gonna get him like, you know, all caught up, and then all of a sudden, oh no, roll up. You know,
I think it's more on the lines of what's she gonna do. Is she gonna turn on him? Is she gonna go with him? I don't know. She's having to mix signals.
I think she ends up with Trick by the time it's all said and done.
And she becomes
who's
his
the dark
valet.
side?
I think
side on the ring tonight? Jax.
Okay, I could definitely see that happening.
I think that when Metaphor breaks up, she'll probably end up going with an incredibly over Trick Williams, because she's one of the valets right now in WWE that can both work in ring, and she can be that, that eye candy valet semi mouthpiece that goes to the ring with you. She can do a little bit of everything. She's not quite on the level of a Zelina Vega, but that's who it kind of reminds me of. Like, her role as a valet and a worker both reminds me of Zelina a little bit. So I think that's kind of cool going for. Again, I've only recently super got into Noam Dar. What's up, Tom?
What's going on,
brother
Tom?
from down under? Hope everything's well in Australia. Does the worst Australian accent I think anybody's ever done. But yeah, I'm slowly, Noam Dar slowly winning me over, both in ring work and character wise. And Trick Williams is a bona fide star. He needs to be a champion or be on the main roster pulling for like a mid card title somewhere down the road. Like, Trick Williams is another one of those guys. Like, he'll be a major contender superstar in the very near future.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to touch on NXT? Anything else you want to say about it before we head over into our Q&A session for a few minutes?
I will also say one of the other things that was touched on tonight. I mean, we had the thing with what is it? We had the thing between Brooks and Brooks Jensen and Fallon Henley in the parking lot. They had their, they hashed out their stuff. He left angry. Kalani Jordan somehow is still alive. Hey, Tommy. But yeah, Kalani and Fallon had their little talk in the parking lot about Kiana James and Izzy Dame. And then what was it? A little also later on in the night, it looks like Kiana and Izzy are in a little bit of a cahoots with Jasmine and JC. But then when Jasmine and JC left, Kalani and Fallon got into it with those two with a fight. So I'm guessing we might just get a tag team match next week, or if they make it something bigger, they might put it on Stand and Deliver. I don't know.
I can see that happening the NXT before Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can see that. and now we've what is it? Since Ava got a hold of Duke Hudson, now there's also the talks of, I guess, who's going to be facing Obafemi at Stand and Deliver as well, because now you've got Duke Hudson going against Josh Briggs, I believe, and
They
then you
didn't
have
specify. They didn't specify any of that.
because like I was seeing that they had matches with I think they had Duke Hudson going against Josh Briggs, and then Dijak. Dijak has a match against somebody else.
I thought I saw, like, I know she mentioned it, but I didn't see them announce any matches. So let me see if I can.
It might have been if it wasn't it. If there wasn't anything, it must have slipped to me. Oh yeah, Travis. The show tonight was great. Like, again, up and down. It proves why NXT is, without a doubt, the best thing happening in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I can't seem to find anything. I did hear that Ava said that if he was interested in going into it, but he had to win a match next week, but he didn't. I don't think she said against who. But it's also going to be something along the lines of Dijak and Briggs. So I'm curious as to see where they go with that.
Okie dokie then.
Shadow, you just don't like wrestling. That's all.
Yeah.
No, he's in his fuck wrestling phase. It's okay. All right, Phil. Where can we find you?
Okay. So, for those of you who stuck around to the end and still love seeing this beautiful face hanging around, you can find me on Twitter, IG, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, under the name that's usually down right below here, but if right below there it is, Phil to Future. You can catch me here every Tuesday night for NXT on tap right after the show's over. And occasionally on the Boss Bitch Trivia Hour, where I am your reigning and defending Boss Bitch Trivia champion, looking for my next opponent to keep my reign going.
Won't you be on that show on Thursday?
Yes, sir.
You realize that on Boss Bitch Trivia, you have a cult following of people that just think you Google the shit that you know. They are convinced that you cheat.
They can think that all they want. I don't cheat. I do not cheat whatsoever.
You just so you know, people were bringing up the philometer last week when you weren't even on the show. People were bringing up. They were like, "Don't pull a Phil." Phil, you're a legend on Boss Bitch Trivia, my dude.
I'm glad
I was there. I was there watching it. Somehow. It was brought up. It was said multiple times.
I mean, you know what? As long as I've made an impact in a trivia bowl in some way, my work is almost done and complete. Like,
all right, Will, I'll let you close out tonight so you can give your spiel on the Patreon because you do it a lot better than I do.
Absolutely.
So, I am Scalz. I am the host of NXT on Tap. I also host Friday Night Review, which is done on Fridays right after SmackDown. You can find me here on Off the Top Media, on Off the Top Media _ on Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. Off the Top Media on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure to go check out the YouTube. Help us keep growing. We're almost at 600 subs on there now. We need to get the watch hours up. We are over 1,500. We need to get to 3,000. Go over there, throw it on a tab, just let it run. Help us get to where we need to be over there. Will, the floor is yours. You're muted.
Motherfucker, that's twice tonight, guys. First night on the job, guys. I've never even been on a podcast before. I have no idea what's happening. First and foremost, guys, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on the show tonight, be a part of NXT on Tap. As it stands right now, me and Metal Mike are going to be bouncing back and forth, so you guys will see my pretty face about every other week moving forward. Important things to remember right now is remember to follow us anywhere you do anything on the internet: Facebook, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. Like, you have all the options. Botch Spots and Share Shots, Rivet City Radio, Off the Top Media. That's your power trinity of this group. In the links below in your bio, you have a Discord link. That's your direct link to all the hosts and producers, Rivet City Radio and Off the Top. Below that is your merch link, my Spreadshirt, for all of your Off the Top Media, Botch Spots and Share Shots, Rivet City Radio merch. Most importantly is your Amazon Prime subscription. If you have Prime Gaming subscription, you can give that to us. You can give that to She Elite. You can give that to Rivet City Radio, Off the Top Media, Creation World, any of our friends. As long as Jeff Bezos doesn't get it, he has too much money. The lifeblood of Rivet City Radio is the patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. With that, you get ad-free playback, Up and Smoke Cinema Club watch-alongs. You get the Delicious as Fuck cookbook, all of our articles, all the news. You get our after parties, all of it. And the best part about it, guys, $2 a month. It's cheaper to subscribe there than it is on Twitch, on YouTube, or anywhere else. $2 a month. That's it. Scalz, it's your show, man.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We hope to see you again soon. Remember, tomorrow night, right on Rivet City Radio Twitch and Off the Top YouTube at 10:15, we have The Boom with Cam G, Metal Mike, and guests. And then, like Will and Phil were talking about, Thursday night, we have Boss Bitch Trivia. That starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central.
9/8, yes, sir.
Okay. And then right after that, on this channel here, we're going to be doing our career retrospective for Mercedes Monet. Hope everybody comes check it out. We'll catch y'all soon. Have a great evening.
Peace.
Down to the